Film as a medium has always had the propensity to form narratives and shape societies, and pre-colonial Gold Coast Film Unit films were no exception. From films like Family of Ghana (1958), Progress in Kojokrom (1953), and Mr. Mensah Builds a House (1955), we see the use of film in propagating new reforms and agendas set by ruling governments of that time in various ways. Family of Ghana encouraging fisher folk to ditch traditional methods and adapt new mechanisms of fishing. Mr. Mensah Builds a House, complementing new house building initiatives introduced in the Gold Coast, and Progress in Kojokrom, popularizing rates payment to the newly introduced local government council. Film was playing its propagation role and it was largely successful. And then there is You Hide Me. This 1971 documentary film written, directed, produced, researched, edited and voiced by Nii Kwate Owoo more than 50 years ago, reveals for the first time hundreds of thousands of hitherto unseen rare Asante treasures of artworks that now call the British Museum home. After the Sagrenti War, as well as other art treasures looted by the British Expeditionary Forces when they ransacked the city of Benin in modern-day Nigeria in 1897, a sharp contrast from its predecessors in conversation. The film can somewhat be described as an exposé on the buried African treasures deep in basements beneath museums throughout Europe and America.
The June Giovanni Pan-African Cinema Archives, based in the UK, organized a 50th anniversary commemoration of my film. For the first time, she organized a series of webinars, 3 important webinars, and the film went viral. And so June Giovanni certainly was, the organization is an organization that should be celebrated because they were the ones who made the biggest noise about You Hide Me when they launched You Hide Me to commemorate its 50th anniversary.
Granted, the various artifacts in question represent the booty of the conquering army, and all is fair in war, one might justify the artifacts are where they ought to be. However, on watching the film, some placements of the artifacts beg the question of why they remain stashed away from the public eye in compartments and covered containers, selected to display based on their primitiveness or association to higher civilization. I digress. In my brief interaction with Nii Kwate Owoo after a screening session of You Hide Me at his studio, he mentioned a ban on the film in Ghana the year of its release and the stiff opposition that he met to screen the film. This was a huge surprise to me as I thought natives would react to and not against.
In 1971, I decided, okay, let me bring the film to Ghana. Why not? Because nobody in the UK at that time, none of the distributors in UK wanted to touch the film. They just, it was a hands-off thing, because the film was controversial. It was attacking a British institution, British museum. So I flew all the way to Ghana, to Accra, and my first move was to go to the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, the Ghana Broadcasting Radio and Television, to meet with the managing director of Ghana TV. And I introduced myself to him and I said, look, I've just come home with this film which exposes all these stolen artifacts hidden in the British Museum, and I would like to show it on Ghana television. And he was very, his attitude was very antagonistic, which took me by surprise. So I said, look, I'm a Ghanaian. I was very bold in those days. I said, I'm a Ghanaian and I deserve the right to have my work. If you show foreign stuff, my work should be shown on Ghana television. The West Africa magazine which was then a well-known magazine across Europe and Africa, had picked up the graphic editorial and they splashed it. And about the fact that when the film was banned in Ghana, West African magazine splashed it in the publication and the film went viral. So the banning of the film in Ghana actually contributed to the popularization of the film, making the film popular.
Nii Kwate Owoo's visual resistance through film illustrates the importance of reclaiming African histories and interrogating colonial narratives, similar to how films about the British Empire exhibition can critique the erasure and misinterpretation of colonized people. The film has the potential to reconstruct and reinterpret narratives from the British Empire exhibition, focusing on marginalized voices like those of African and Asian subjects. Filmmakers hold the power to shape history through the filmmaking art and reclaim control by presenting counter-narratives, just as Nii Kwate Owoo did in You Hide Me. The power of visuals to do all the talking in a situation are reminiscent of Nii Kwate Owoo's film, where the visuals were right in your face with a voice-over accompaniment. Film, exemplified by You Hide Me, remains a powerful tool for challenging colonial legacies and recovering silenced histories and artifacts, making the medium an essential tool for decolonizing history. You Hide Me has screened at many venues across the world, Accra included, and there is a move by the filmmaker to further decolonize the film by dubbing the film to the local languages all across Ghana. Another route worth exploring by contemporary filmmakers in Ghana and beyond to reach all and sundry in the quest to decolonize narratives ingrained in the fabric of that community.
I've decided to decolonize the film from the English language into local indigenous African language, starting with Ghana, my own country. Precisely because it's a film like this, nobody knows about this film in Ghana. I'm talking about the general population, even in the rural areas and etc. And even in the cities and the urban areas, the film has not been exposed since it won the prize in the Paris Film Festival. So I've started with the Twi language. I've just finished a recording of the narration of the Twi language, which will be edited together with the existing material. So that's what I'm working on. But I'm not only going to stop at the Twi language, I'm going to go on and do the other languages like the Ga language, Ewe, Hausa, and so on and so forth. And then even beyond that, the film is going to take a walk. I'm going to do Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa, and etc. in Nigeria, and then go down to East Africa and do Swahili version, and yeah, and so on and so forth. So that's precisely what I intend to do, is to decolonize it and make it available and accessible to the whole of Africa.
The onus lies on us to reinvent our identity, and if You Hide Me is anything to go by, filmmaking as an art and medium is just about the right start.
You Hide Me is now history, but I've decided, apart from the decolonization of the film into the local languages, I've decided to make a sequel to You Hide Me, titled You Can't Hide Me. And this sequel is in my reaction to the arrival of the stolen items from the Fowler Museum. That I was in Kumasi, I was there, and I recorded the arrival of the items from the Fowler Museums, and also the British Museum art, material that they brought back. So I was part of that whole thing. I interviewed people who were there and etc. And all that is material is going to form part of You Can't Hide Me. So there you go.
Yay! Power, power, power. We can't wait to see it.